Good afternoon, everyone. A warm welcome to each one of you. Welcome to the session. Um, so, we are going on with the free English classes on the Playbook, and today is the fourth class with the topic do's and don'ts of do, doesn't, and does. All right, I'm Sanjana. I'm here to take the class, and yes, always delighted to meet each one of you here. So we are going with live free classes on our YouTube channel, the Playbook India, as you can see. So you can subscribe to our channel to stay tuned. There are many more classes coming on which can help you improve your basic vocabulary as well as the basic English skills one requires to perfect their communication skills. So with that, we will get started, and I would like to greet my friends. Pratyusha, hi. Good afternoon. Parul, Reddit Gaming, what is your name? Hi Nirali, Shilpi, okay, Divyanshi, hi. Parth, okay. Hello everyone. I hope the afternoon's going great. So today we are going to focus on do, does, don't, and doesn't. And yes, I would really love to take a sneak peek at my favorite place, playbook.fun. So I would like to tell you all about the new arrival in the store. Have you all checked out the store, by the way? So as you can see, along with all the prizes that we are offering here, which you can redeem by becoming an amazing creator and bagging all these prizes. Along with these, you also have a chance to win an HP Chromebook with you see the number of coins you need to win this. So yes, why don't you take a chance at it? Just visit the home page, explore the platform, which is playbook.fun. Refer the platform to your friends, and you can even earn coins by referring the platform to your friends. Do not forget to download the app, the Playbook Create and Learn, okay, so that you can access the app easily and whenever you like. You don't really need to visit the website. You can simply just open the app, and let's say you want to upload an artwork, you can go to the create your own post section and post it. Or you just want to learn some quick facts, you can come here and read them. There are facts on space, automobiles, food, fashion, and many more. So we have many things to explore here in the platform. So don't stop unless you have explored everything. We keep coming up with new things every day. And yes, so we will be starting off with the session without any further ado, and then we will speak about what's going on in the platform again. So let's go back to do, does, don't, and doesn't. Okay, you've got the headphones. Okay, all right, great. So moving on then with do, does, don't, and doesn't. So let's get started, everyone. We are going to learn about the do's and don'ts of the topic, and we are going to solve an exercise. All right, Sanchi, hi Sanchi. So moving on, the words do, don't, does, and doesn't appear a lot in English. This is because they can be used as verbs or modals. Modals are helping verbs. They help another verbs, okay? They help us to form a proper, meaningful sentence, making a proper grammatically correct English. So they are helping verbs, all right? Now they are used in making affirmative statements and questions. That is, they are used to make affirmative, or in other words, positive sentences. So when we did sentences, we learned about positive and negative sentences. You all might have done this in your school, but we are going to teach you about the technicalities of how you can use how and when to use do and don't, and does and doesn't. All right, so are you all ready? Shall we start? Ready to learn some tips here? Let me know in the comment section, everyone. Meanwhile, let's see what do we have here. So how do we use the words do, don't, does, and doesn't while making affirmatives or affirmative sentences? How do we use these words? Now, do, don't, does, and doesn't come after the subject. If you all have followed the basic word order sessions, you know what I'm talking about. What is a subject? Yes, what does a subject do in a sentence? You all know the meaning of subject here. And do, don't, does, and doesn't come after the subject in a sentence, okay? Following the examples, they do their chores when they arrive home, okay? They do their chores when they arrive home. She does charity work when she has time. I don't speak Spanish. James doesn't drive on Saturdays. Now, they, she, I, and James, they are the subject here. We are in the sentence, we are getting to know about them, she, I, and James. Okay, now they do their chores. She does charity work. I don't speak Spanish. James doesn't drive. Now all these words in caps, they are subject. They are the subject in the sentence. As you can clearly see, these are affirmative sentences. Okay, or just you can even say, you can make any questions also using do, don't, does, and doesn't. So following questions, in asking questions, how do you use do, don't, does, and doesn't while you're asking a question? So you need to remember, when you're asking questions, do, don't, does, and doesn't come before the subject. We know what a subject is. We learned it in the previous 2 sessions. Now before the subject, we place do, don't, does, and doesn't. This is only when you are asking questions. Remember, that's the reason I've highlighted this, that while you are asking questions, do, don't, does, and doesn't need to come before the subject. All right, examples: where do you live? You is the subject here. Do comes before you. Where do you live? Question mark. Does he drive to work? He is the subject here, and this is a question. Why don't we visit the national park? It's so much fun. Why don't we? We is the subject, don't came before we. Lucina speaks Dutch, doesn't she? Now she, Lucina, is the subject here, and doesn't has been put before the subject. Okay, so this is the major difference. While you are making affirmative sentences, do, don't, does, doesn't come after the subject. When you are asking questions, do, don't, does, and doesn't come before the subject. Okay, so remember, it is when you're asking questions, you begin with the D's. Okay, you begin with do or don't, or you begin with does and doesn't. All right, it comes before the subject. Okay, moving on. To put it very simply, do, don't, does, and doesn't are a simple present tense of the verb to do. Okay, to do something, to not do something. All right, don't, which is a contracted form of do not, is the negative form of do, while doesn't is the negative form of does. Okay, do means to do something, do not means to not do something. Same applies with does and doesn't. Okay, he does yoga. He doesn't do yoga. He does not do yoga. Okay, now where shall we use do and don't, does and doesn't? I'll tell you about it. So far I hope everything is clear. Following up, look at the block letters, look at the highlighted words. We use does and doesn't if the subject is third person singular, which means anybody else apart from you and I. Okay, he, she, it, them, they. We will use does and doesn't while we are referring to third person singular, that is he, she, it, they. All right, when do we use do and don't? We use do and don't everywhere else except for associating it with he, she, it. Okay, plural we use do and don't with plural nouns and with the pronouns I, you, we, and they. All right. So I don't, you don't, we don't, they don't, or I do, you do, we do, they don't. All right, so this is how we put. Now the words are highlighted in red. You all can take a notebook and note this down somewhere. While we use the while we are using third person singular, that is I, while we are using nouns and pronouns like I, you, we, they, we use do and don't. When we are using third person singular, we use does and doesn't with namely he, she, or it. Okay, so you all can note this down somewhere. The ones written in red, you can note it down. This is like a small clue that will help you. It's like a small hint. So whenever you're confused, you just remember that you use do and don't with I, you, we, and they. He, she, it. For he, she, it, we always use does and doesn't. Apart from these, everywhere else we follow do and don't. Many a times we make a mistake. I don't, or I does. I does is a mistake. I do is the correct way to say it out. Okay, so you all can note this down, and now we will be following up with an exercise. So let me know, is everything clear so far, and we will be proceeding further with an exercise. Okay, so let me know in the comment section, everyone. Is there any kind of doubt that you do not follow? You all can feel free to note this down. The summary that you can see: I, you, we, and they are followed by do and don't. He, she, and it are followed by does and doesn't. Okay, so shall we move? Okay, we'll do a quick exercise, and yes, you all need to give me your answers in the chat section, and any kind of doubts that you have, please put it up here in the chat section. Moving on, let's see. Question: Mrs. Miller read fashion magazines. Dash Mrs. Miller read fashion magazines. Now this is a question. So remember, what did we learn when we did about asking questions? What are you going to put here? Dash Mrs. Miller read fashion magazines. What shall we put? Which modal verb are we going to put here? Do, does, don't, and doesn't. What are you going to put it here? Let's see answers. Okay, does, I'm getting does as an answer. Everybody else, let's see. Okay, Pratyusha, check the spelling of does. Please check the spelling of does. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, we'll see the answer. Let's see, are we ready to see the answer? Okay, does Mrs. Miller read fashion magazines? So, Mrs. Miller, now we are talking about a person here. So, what do? Going back to the rules. If you're talking about a third person plural or third person singular, you use does. Okay, so does Mrs. Miller read fashion magazines? You're talking about a person. Okay, so does Mrs. Miller read fashion magazines? Moving on. Dash the boys play cricket outside? Again a question. Dash the boys play cricket outside? Let's see, everyone. Okay, can I see answers? Yes. Keep them coming. Dash the boys play cricket outside? What is it? Is it does the boys play cricket or do the boys play cricket? Let me know. Do? Okay. Okay. Do the boys play cricket outside? That's the correct answer. Do the boys play cricket outside? Now, what are we talking about? This is again a question. So, do has come before the subject. The subject is the boys. Okay. So, do the boys play cricket outside? That is how we will go about it. Moving on to the next one. We eat pizza, but we dash eat hamburgers. We eat pizza, but we dash eat hamburgers. What will be put here? Now this will be in a negative sense, but we dash eat hamburgers. But we don't eat or but we doesn't eat. What are we going to fit in here? Who can tell me? Let me know. Now, there is a but in the sentence which implies that the rest of the sentence is going to end up in a negative statement. Okay, we eat pizza, but we dash eat hamburgers. Is it don't eat or doesn't eat? What are we going to put here? Okay. Now, Parth doesn't. The spelling of doesn't. How do we put it? DOESN apostrophe S. Okay. DOESN apostrophe S. It's a shortened form of does not. Doesn't is a shortened form of does not. Okay. It's a contracted form. So, we eat pizza, but we don't eat hamburgers. That's the correct answer, everybody. We eat pizza, but we do not or don't eat hamburgers. Alright? Okay, so make sure you put the apostrophe properly. This can also be very confusing. When we write don't, we use apostrophe after N. Same follows with doesn't. You will put apostrophe after N. DON apostrophe T. Okay? DOESN apostrophe T. So after N, we will put an apostrophe. Remember that. This is also a common mistake that we do while writing. Moving on to the next one. Lynn's father watches badminton on TV, but he dash watch karate. Let me know. So he is third person singular. What are we going to put here? Don't or doesn't. Lynn's father watches badminton on TV, but he dash watch karate. This is again going to end in a negative sense. The rest of the sentence followed after but. The clause after but, what will it have? Will it be don't or doesn't? Okay. Doesn't. Okay. Okay. Alright, I'm putting the answer out here. Lynn's father watches badminton on TV, but he doesn't watch karate. So if you remember the summary, he, she and it always is followed by does and doesn't. Okay. So apart from he, she and it, everything else will be followed by do and don't. He, she and it always has does or doesn't. Okay. So remember that. That is your clue. So Lynn's father watches badminton on TV, but he doesn't watch karate. Okay. Moving on. Last sentence. Why dash we go out for supper tonight? Just us and the kids? Now this is again a question and we have the subject us and the kids. Us and the kids are subjects here. So obviously do or don't or does and doesn't will follow before the subject. Now what will you fill in the blank with? Is it why doesn't we go out or why don't we go out? Who can tell me? Let me know in the comment section. Okay. Check the sentence. Is it fitting right? I do not know your name, but you have put do as an option. No, if that's not an option. Okay, fine. Why don't we go out for supper tonight? Just us and the kids. So, us and the kids. Now, we are going to use don't with that because there are multiple subjects here. Okay, so just like I said, apart from he, she or it, everything will be followed by do and don't. So, why don't we go out for supper? Okay, so that is all. That's the whole exercise on do, does, don't and doesn't, and we will be quickly taking a look of the platform. Why don't? Parth is asking me why don't. Okay, if you remember the summary, I, you, we, these are all followed by do and don't. Okay, because you are referring to them in second person or first person. Okay, I is first person, you is second person. Now he is third person, he, she, it, these are all third person. So when we are using he, she and it, we will use does and doesn't. When we are using I, you, we, then we will use do and don't. Okay, I'll quickly just put up the explanation part here so that you all can take a screenshot or something. Please just note down the summary somewhere. This is going to help you. Okay, I, you, we and they will be followed by do and don't. He, she, it are followed by does and doesn't. Okay? Okay, so I'll quickly just go on the platform, and yes, putting out the schedule right over here, everyone. Tomorrow we are going, just a minute. Yeah, looking at the schedule, tomorrow we are going to have a session on prepositions of time. So tomorrow we are meeting at the same, we are meeting at 5:30 p.m. On Friday, tomorrow evening 5:30. So we will be learning about prepositions of time, and we will be solving an exercise. So stay tuned with me. You can strengthen your English in a matter of days with the Playbook. So don't forget to download the app, the Playbook, Create and Learn. The link is there in the description, and do not forget to refer the platform to your friends. Okay, with that, I'll take your leave. Everyone, take care. Bye bye.